Hello, and welcome to 2025.
Welcome to the Art of Woo podcast with your host, Lee Erickson.
Wanted to do a overview of January 2025, the astrological energies of the month of January 2025 as we dive into this quite honestly wild year ahead. There's a lot going on. I know I kind of say that a lot, but we've really been put through the ringer these last 4 years, of course, but 2025 feels like it's going to be the grand finale. So I feel like just going into this month and giving just a nice overview of the major astrological transits that are ahead will help us navigate what's yet to come in this first month, just as a warm-up, you could say. I am recording this on January 3rd, which is actually a pretty interesting day to record, but here we are. We're only 3 days into January, and already there has been a lot of activity and a lot of really dramatic activity. So I'm just going to rewind a couple days back, 2 days back to January 1st, just in case if any of this energy happens to resonate with you and you find it helpful. So January 2nd, January 1st was a pretty mild day overall, but we also have a lot of other subterranean energies that are happening simultaneously, which I will get into. So January 2nd, Vesta, which is an asteroid, entered Scorpio. So the only reason why we're paying attention to Vesta is because it actually has a lot more symbolic energy than we give credit to. So Vesta, the asteroid, particularly symbolizes inner focus and devotion. It moved into the sign of Scorpio January 2nd, and this transit more or less encourages a deep introspection, commitment, personal growth, and pursuit of meaningful endeavors. So we can just use this to really kick off the new year. It's great energy to just kind of have in the background for us while we are planting our seeds for our future and have that New Year's energy that we're working with and diving into. So today, January 3rd, as I record this, actually is one of the more significant aspects you could say out of the entire year. And that is Mars retrograde, the sign of war and conflict and heat and drama. It likes to really add tension to things. It takes action. So Mars retrograde is in the sign Leo, which almost means like double heat, right? Mars is like a planet of fire, more or less. And then it's in the sign of Leo, which Leo is a fire sign at that. So that is opposing the planet of Pluto. And Pluto, as we know, I couldn't stop talking about it all in 2024 because it changed signs going into Aquarius. And so Mars opposing Pluto is huge. We've already saw this actually really oddly enough right around the election time, November 3rd. Now we're here in January 3rd, and it is opposing that planet once again. So an opposition means really just like, if you can picture it, like two people that have, blood out for each other, kind of like staring each other and having almost like a face off. And so it's heated energy. It brings conflict. And so it's interesting because as I say this, again, today is January 3rd, there's already been heat in our, in this country. I'm in the United States, and we've already seen 3 different acts of crime, really. It's just really interesting because this is such a heavy energy. This is such a large, it's just something to look out for when looking at the large scale map of astrology. We've seen this heat already take action. It took place on the 1st. But I would argue to say that this Mars Pluto opposition energy is actually almost kind of like how a retrograde works. In a sense, is it has like a pre-retrograde shadow, it has the actual retrograde, and then it has like the post retrograde shadow. So it's almost like this like window of time. And this one specifically, again, because it's such a heavy duty energy, I feel like this window of time for this opposition is about 3 to 5 days. I feel like we're still in this window. I think it started on the 1st, and I think it might last another couple of days. So I don't know. I'm not, trying to spread fear or drama, but just kind of be mindful, perhaps, if you, I don't know, anything with large crowds kind of makes me a little nauseous, to say the least, at this moment in time. So moving on then to January 6th, which happens to be Inauguration Day, Mars retrograde enters Cancer. This is a really interesting sign. We also saw Mars retrograde in Cancer earlier this year. I believe it was there in August. Again, Mars retrograde to begin with, I feel like I've talked a bit about this already, but it's kind of this sluggish energy to begin the new year with. Mars and Cancer, yeah. For this one, Cancer is all about the home and nurturing and the family and, the womb space and like a very feminine leaning side ruled by the moon. Water sign. Mars brings the heat. It likes action. It's masculine. It moves forward. It's, action oriented. It's a fire sign. So I can't think of 2 more. I think they quite honestly could be opposite signs or opposite energies. Sorry, not signs, obviously. And putting them together, it's just kind of this uncomfortable feeling. But overall, energetically, what this could mean for us, I mean, Cancer for everyone, no matter who you are and no matter what rising sign you are, Cancer is still going to represent your home and your body and family in an overarching theme, right? So Mars retrograde, again, going backwards, it really just means like reassessing what needs to be changed, what needs to have more attention, like more focus pulled to it, what needs cleaning house. Quite literally, it could just mean cleaning your house. I actually had a great cleaning house day yesterday, and it felt really good to move that energy out of like the holidays and everything. So essentially this could really just in a universal way, meaning again, refocusing on the family and the home. And it could, again, it's like uncomfortable. So it's like things could really be coming up and showing up in a way that you're just like irritated by, or they need attention and they need to be fixed in a way or revised. And it's something that maybe we've been ignoring or putting to the side. Since the last time it was in that sign. So I forgot to mention one more important transit, which is Venus entering Pisces. That is January 2nd. That happened yesterday. This is a really lovely, lovely transit. This is like nothing but really just good, pleasurable, good vibes. Venus is love and pleasure and beauty and just socializing and enjoying your life. Pisces, again, is like the watery, dreamy, imaginative sign. Creativity will be flowing. I am going to try to make a point to start painting really soon again. And it encourages us to just really kind of connect our pleasures on like a deeper, soulful level, you could say. It will be conjuncting Saturn in Pisces as well on January 18th. That may call for setting more boundaries and discipline regarding your relationships, perhaps even your finances. So might just be some like an extra little bonus date to keep in mind as you're going through this day. Again, that's January 18th, and that's just maybe a little bit more of a disciplined day when it comes to your pleasure and finances and relationships. Next, we have January 8th, Mercury enters Capricorn. This feels really good. This is a really good forward momentum energy. I think a lot of people will appreciate this. Currently, Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius, which actually was where my Mercury is. But a lot of people feel uncomfortable with this placement just because Mercury, again, is the ruler of Gemini. It loves details. It's communication. It's information. It's, how things move, how communication moves, how information moves. It's the media. But when in the sign of Sagittarius, like it has been for the last few months, the lines get a little bit blurred. The stories get a little bit exaggerated, and things can almost be a little bit more dramatic or even overly optimistic, to the extent that maybe it could be harmful to us. So moving into Capricorn, it feels very comfortable there. It's Capricorn, of course, loves information and details again, and it loves to move things forward. It's the mountain goat, the sea goat, and it really enjoys a task. It likes a goal. It's a very goal oriented sign. So Mercury feels very at home there, and we're gonna feel like this almost like a more stabilizing energy. This transit will also really help us and support us in problem solving. It will lead us to some breakthroughs that we've been waiting for quite some time. And really, again, just like bring that more stabilizing forward momentum when it comes to communication. Really, Capricorn is, again, like more of a sign of discipline. So perhaps we could see a little bit of a tone. God, yeah, right. I was going to say like a tone down in the media, but there's no way. I do feel like on the world stage, we might be really searching for information that the public really wants to know about, that we, haven't seen yet, like we've been waiting for. For example, all of this like UFO, UAP sightings, and still we don't have a real answer as to like what they are. So who knows? Perhaps maybe we'll get some more clarification there. We'll just have to wait and see. January 11th, the lunar nodes. This is big. This is 111, 111. And the lunar nodes shift from where they are now. North node is currently in Aries, South node is in Libra. So these are changing signs again on 111, which is seems very kismet and very spiritual, because again, like 111 is like just such a symbolically beautiful day to begin with. And the fact that they're changing signs on this day seems very relevant and symbolic. And not only that, but the nodes changing signs. So the north node will be changing into the sign of Pisces. South node will be changing into the sign of Virgo. I can speak to this because that is actually my natal placement. I am a north node Pisces and south node Virgo, which is not very helpful for a heavy duty Sagittarius. Again, I always talk about like the lack of details that a Sagittarius pays attention to, and Virgo loves details. So let me just quickly explain the North Node and South Node, what that necessarily means. There's a lot of different ways to describe it. Some astrologers say it's the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon, the North Node being the head. The North Node, in one way, is where we are heading in this lifetime. It has to do with kind of our karmic lifetimes. Again, if you believe in lifetimes or not, I do. But in this lifetime, the North Node represents the energy and the archetype that we are aiming for in this lifetime. The South Node, in my eyes, how I feel about it is what we may have mastered in another lifetime, probably a previous one, and what we're actually ready to release and let go of. So we're moving towards the north node. We're releasing what no longer serves us of the south node. So, like any sign that there's, a bright light side of the sign and there's a shadow side. So, again, I can relate to this so much. So, Pisces is, if you're going to talk about spirituality, it's Pisces. Pisces loves the spirit. It's the ethereal world. It is what we cannot see with the blind eye, or even a regular eye. I don't know why I said that. And it is ruled by the sign Neptune. It's also a water sign. It's very dreamy. It's very just imaginative. It's, being in touch with the ethers, right? And so Virgo, again, loves details. It loves analytics. It loves organization. It loves order. So for me personally, I have never really been a fond of details. And I'm not saying that they're good or bad. Everything is neutral. But this in my life, I don't necessarily, I think to a certain extent, of course, we need them to get by in this three-dimensional world that we're living in. It's just how we function. But for me, again, it's something that I don't let consume my life, if that makes sense. I've never really sorry, that's a lie. I used to when I was younger. I think I used to obsess, over the details that were ultimately just not helpful for me. It's kind of the same thing as worrying. It's just not helpful. And obviously details have their place, and that's not the only part about Virgo. I'm just saying that's kind of where my mind first relates to, because again, that's how I see it in my own natal chart. But I do feel like on a global scale, since this will be the universal placement for all of us, we might just start to loosen up a little bit. We might start to let go of all of the barriers and the boundaries and the labels that kind of keep us separated and keep us judging or even self-judgment. There's a lot of things that us humans really can obsess over that ultimately do not serve us. And I think that we can all start to see a shift once this transit happens over time, of maybe us, I'm trying to think, and not necessarily holding people accountable for their wrongdoings, but maybe a really impactful way I can see this playing out is current moment where we are in society. We are very much putting people in boxes because of their beliefs or their actions. Actions speak louder than words, but their their religion or even their skin color, and the way that they dress, the clubs that they're a part of. There's so many ways to continue to divide us, and that is okay, because I think that individuality is so important for all of us. But what I'm saying is maybe we will lean towards more acceptance of differences, and maybe we will start to really forget about the labels that we have on everybody that, again, keep us separate from others, separation consciousness. And since simultaneously Pisces is going to be in the North Node, we will all be leaning more into tapping into spirituality one way or another. And it's not like everybody's going to just turn into an astrologer or a guru or a breath worker or all of that overnight, or even over the 18 months that they will be there. But things will start to really open up for people, and people will start to, on a mass scale, I think, like start to shift their perspective in the sense of just being a little bit more open-minded to the things that they can't necessarily see, with their eyes. They will still start to maybe create a little bit room in their mind for, the spiritual side, and let go of, this, I don't want to say the science, because I know that's so controversial right now, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, to a certain extent, the science can almost prevent us from learning more, because it can't be proven in this three-dimensional realm necessarily, or it can't be proven by scientists at this moment in time. So it should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out in I don't know, in the community, in the world, in our society, in the States. I think we're going to really start to see people's imagination opening up, and just, I'm excited. I'm excited because obviously I own this aspect in my natal chart again, and I think it's going to do a lot of good for the people. So, okay. I got a couple more. January 13th, a couple days later, we'll have a full moon in Cancer. We have a lot of Cancer energy. It's like, again, the Mars retrograde moving back into Cancer. I think this is going to be like kind of a conversation between the two. But a full moon in Cancer is so beautiful. I mean, Cancer was ruled by the moon. Again, Cancer is like the sign of like nurturing and comfort, and just like family and home and coziness. And I do think that even though, again, Mars is retrograde there, it might actually inflame a little bit of that intensity again, really trigger us to really figure out what's going on in the home front, and maybe even just like make it better, improve it. Do like rearranging of your furniture, take a really hot bath, have a really great festive meal with your friends and your family at home, like hosting a dinner party almost kind of feels like that, favoring like domestic manners in like a positive way. January 19th, the sun enters Aquarius. The sun's entry into the Aquarius brings a focus on innovation. This is awesome because, like I've said a million times, Pluto is now in the sign of Aquarius, which I'm so excited about. Pluto and Aquarius ruling a whole generation. It's bringing us power, wealth, and transformation all within the sign of Aquarius, which is we the people. Aquarius is about innovation itself, technology. It's like standing out from the crowd, but also what's best for the crowd. It's going to bring a focus. The sun, entering the season of Aquarius is bringing the focus of all of those characteristics that I just laid out. So again, like it's going to let us really be able to express our individuality, and also just like focus on community at the same time, which is such a beautiful combination, because that's what I was just talking about. It's like this individuality expression, but also like a harmonious blend within our community. January 29th, last but not least, the new moon is in Aquarius. So big Aquarius energy as well. The new moon is always good for new beginnings, clearing out the old. That's going to be interesting because the moon, sun, and Pluto are all going to be, in the sign of Aquarius at the same time. And that's a lot of heavy Aquarius energy, again, which I love. So this can also bring, new innovations to technology on a global scale. Could also bring personal aspirations, whatever you want to, personally focus on. If you had kind of slow start to all of January, like myself, maybe this is a good time to really kind of now step into your motivation or inspiration to really start the year. So Okay. Overall, I think that this is I didn't mean to scare you guys in the beginning. This month is, comes with a punch, but also it was really just while I'm recording now, January 3rd, I really hope I don't see anything else in the news, but we've already seen, again, 3 instances where violence has been at the focal point of the new year. So let's really not focus on that. And I think, I'm going to record another video about the overall, like, major transformations of the year and just kind of where this 2025 energy is at, astrologically and energetically, and just go from there. There's a lot happening. I think, yeah, the best we can do is just have a little bit of a heads up with the astrology. Major planets changing signs this year, which will affect us for generations. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. I'll be putting that out hopefully ASAP. But yeah, lots to look ahead for. It's going to be a jam-packed year. I hate to say it. I know that it's been relentless, but I kind of feel like it's been preparing us for this year. Nothing to fear. Just we're really going to have to double down on our grounding energies and know how to sail these rough seas that we're about to encounter. But we're all in this together. We got this. Okay. Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.